What are you doing? What do you mean? I'm playing. What else does this look like? Well, cut the crap. Let's go. We got a video to make. Why do I have to come? You always make me do boring stuff. Just go yourself. Get in. Okay. Man, I can't believe it's been 6 months with my Thor already. It has? Of course it's been 6 months. I've been talking about it since we got in the car together, numbnuts. Well, don't get angry at me and start shouting. I'm not gonna do the video then, dummy. Well, that's fine. I'll just do the video myself, stupid. But yes, my friends, it has already been 6 months with my Thor, my 2010 Volvo XC90 V8 Executive. I got this thing on January 23rd. So we're coming up on 6 months now. So when I first got this thing 6 months ago, it had 172,000 miles on it. Right now, I'm just over 178,000 miles. I'd like to try to get 180,000 miles by the end of this summer, so by the end of next month. But I think that's doable because I'm gonna go on a lot of driving and I'm gonna bring you guys with me, of course. And because of that mileage, which some of you may think is quite a bit for an old, well, 11, almost 12-year-old Volvo, this is the most important part. Has it gone wrong? And by my enthusiasm in this video, it's not really being hidden well. In the past 6 months that I've owned Thor, nothing has gone wrong. I've only had to do minimal regular maintenance to this, and that's it. All I've had to do so far within the 6 months that I've had this is, ow, that's freaking hot. Oh my God. But all I've had to do with this in the past 6 months is change the oil, which I used Royal Purple this time. For my first time, it used to have a slight leak, and then once I did the Royal Purple, it's dry, but it's also warm outside, so you know that might stop it from leaking. Besides the oil, I remember talking to a bunch of you guys in the comments about my transmission fluid. I did 2 drain and fills on that, and man, did that make a difference to how this transmission performs. Before it was a little bit slow in between gears, well, between shifts. Now it's a little bit faster, a little bit more crisp. But I've really not had to do anything major to this, at least right now. Aside from that, for those who may not know, this is the B8 444S. It's a 4.4 liter dual overhead cam V8. It makes 311 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Very healthy numbers. This engine is very much worth it. This V8 that Volvo used in the XC90 and S80 has to be the best unplanned accident ever. This engine is designed and built by Yamaha, and Yamaha is that same company that put the V8, I think it was a 3.4 liter V8, in the old Ford Taurus show. Originally, Yamaha made this engine to go into the next generation Taurus show. But Ford didn't want to use that engine, so Yamaha was like, well, what are we gonna do? Then Volvo was like, we'll take him. So clearly, a few things have been done to Thor since I first got him. It looked real bone stock. It looked like a mom car before. The biggest thing that I did a few months ago was plasti-dip my wheels gray, which I'm soon gonna paint them in gunmetal gray, because now that I know I like the color, I'm gonna use it. The first thing I did that I was pretty chuffed about was I got my front windows to match the rear windows, and I also got my windshield tinted 50%. It's so much better inside when it's really sunny and hot like this. It keeps the cabin a little bit cooler, it helps the AC run a little bit better, and it just gives it a nice uniform look to it. After that, I did this pretty recently, I ordered crossbars from eBay. They were like $80 compared to the $200 ones that you'd get from Volvo. But after I added those crossbars, I mounted my traction boards on the top of the car, so I have more space to do my camping and other stuff inside the car. I don't want to put too much stuff on top of the car, so it may just be these permanently, you know, unless if I need them, and then maybe a little cargo box on top if I'm going camping, so I'd take that off. And speaking of inside the car, I've fitted a new head unit. I got the Legend head unit in this car. I remember in one of my first videos with Thor, I wanted to do this. Well, I said I wanted to do this, but it's quite a bit of money depending on how you spec it up, because there's an unlimited amount of options that you can get with this. You can get in contact with the creator that makes these on Facebook, in a Facebook group. I'll link that in the description. I've had this in the car for the past few, maybe 3 or 4 days, and I have loved every minute of using it. The big screen is so much nicer. It's a wow factor when other people get in the car. It does wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, depending on how you order it. The steering wheel buttons still work. It has a backup camera that I need to set up. You can even order a front camera and a camera that can record, because this has a hard drive in it. And there's so many more things about this, but I actually made a video about that I'll post up here. Or here. One of these things. I also realized that I've never taken you guys on a proper drive with Thor. I've done a few POV videos in the snow, but let's just get that done. Right. So, welcome to the interior of my Thor. So the first question that I will answer as we depart, I have a Flowmaster muffler on this thing with no resonator. I got the car like this. The previous owner did that, but it sounds really good. It's honestly the perfect volume for daily driving. Anybody, and just like having passengers around too, because you know, there's always someone that you'll bring in your car that's like, this is too loud. It can be loud when it wants to and quiet when it wants to as well. And I'm very happy with that. The only thing that I can think of right now is, I know I'm asking for things that a 4Runner has in a Volvo, but I wish that the rear window in this thing would open, because it would be really useful. I like that this has a split tailgate. That's really nice, but it would add to that utility if I could open the rear window, either if it just flipped up or slid down, but it's okay. That's not a deal breaker for me. Now I am pulling on to this main road over here with AC off now. And since this is my car, oh God, there's a cop up the street. Glad I didn't do that. Haha, I turned someone's head. So there goes the first thing that I like. You can see, people don't expect this thing to make such a noise and go quickly. No one expects a, big Volvo to do that. So I can just let off the gas and it's totally fine. So I'm gonna have to find another road to do that. That's a nice Oldsmobile, but it's such a fun car to drive. I love whipping it around corners. So one issue that I've had, the only thing that's actually, I'd say, broken, is the sunshade. I said that in another video, but there's nothing that holds it from sliding open and closed on its own. Because when I floor it, the thing opens, and then when I slam on the brakes, it slams shut. So that is a bit of an annoyance. Ooh, a Passport with a tire on the back. But something that is so good about these Volvos, even though this thing is 5,000 pounds, is how they handle. This thing, I mean, I'm going slow in a neighborhood right now, but I've whipped this thing around plenty of turns at a high rate of speed, at a passionate rate of speed, and it really corners flat. It does roll just a little bit. You do feel the top heaviness of it, but that's just the softness of the suspension. But once you get used to how the body moves a little bit, it really is a fun thing to whip around corners. Of course, it's not going to be fun like a car, because it's like a big SUV, but for what it is, it's really entertaining. Now I'm about to pull onto another straight road, and okay, the thing shut itself. I'm going to hope that there's no police on this road. Let's see here. Turn AC off. Punch it. Freaking CRV's going slow, but you can see the shade likes to open and close. This guy is going 30 in a 45 in front of me. That's always fun. But that's enough, that's like, you do that twice, you burn like 2 gallons of gas. Wow, this guy is going slow. Speaking about that fuel economy, now that I bring it up, let's go to my trip computer. Right now it says 16.5 because today I've had a heavy foot so far. Usually, and I'm at the end of my... Why are you on the brake when there's nobody in front of you? But usually, when I'm about to refill, I usually enjoy my little bit of gas left until I get new gas. I love that sound. It really is a good sounding engine. It turns heads. Because it's loud outside, it's louder than it seems. But because it's so loud outside, a lot of... Wow, this guy. You better push the gas. You better push the gas. Isn't it always fun when when a slow person pulls out in front of a car that's going fast? I mean, I'm doing the speed limit and he pulls out in front of me doing 20. Now he's like crossing the double yellow. This is Maryland drivers. You could see my stress levels slowly start to increase. But yeah, the exhaust on this car is, it's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. And like I've also said in past videos, there's a few things that I want to do to Thor. Well, not a few, there's quite a bit of things that I want to do to Thor. So let's get into my office. I guess I have to say, that having the split tailgate is one of the nice things about having these P2 XC90s. I wrote a few of the things that I want to do on my phone, even though I do memorize them, but I want to seem like an organized individual. The first thing that I want to do before anything else, before I lift it, put bigger tires on it, whatever, is get a skid plate. Volvo doesn't make a skid plate that's metal for this. IPD doesn't make a skid plate as of right now for the XC90. So I'm gonna either have to make one or find something to use as a skid plate. And I think it's gonna be option number 2. After that, I still wanna do that 3-inch lift from Cross Country Performance so I could get more ground clearance and possibly a little bit more articulation. I also want to try to figure out how I can get a tow bar under here, but one that doesn't hang so low. Because if you look at every other XC90 of this generation, the tow hitch hangs way lower than the exhaust tip. And I'd like the tow hitch to be a little bit tucked up, higher so I don't scratch on the bottom of something. I'd also like to cut my front bumper just a little bit. That's not much of a project. You just use a Dremel and I'd make it look nice, but cut just the very bottom of the bumper so I have a little bit more clearance when I'm climbing up things. And the last thing that I'd like to do, and pretty much everyone that has an all-wheel drive off-roader would like to do, is lockers. Nobody makes lockers for these Volvos at all right now, and I don't really know who to talk to. I know that there's a torque locker for the Subarus that they make. Maybe one day, if the Volvo off-road community gets blown up enough, which that's what I'm trying to do, maybe they can at least have the idea of doing some sort of rear locker for these. Because the Haldex all-wheel drive system, this has generation 4, works really well because I've gone off-roading with this plenty of times. But having that lockable ability, or just at least like a limited slip rear diff, a proper one, mechanical limited slip rear diff, that would be so beneficial. I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers. I'm at like 9,900 something. I know I have a few special videos that are gonna come out for 10K, but I just wanted to say thank you for helping me get to this goal, or helping us get to this goal. Me, Thor, Phantom, and all the cars that have been around in my car family. But I really appreciate it. It's really cool. Now that I'm doing this job full time, it's up to me and you guys to help me with all my crazy projects and my future convertible that I want to get that is unknown, that you guys will figure out. But also I wanted to say, if you guys are in Maryland, DC, Virginia, or Pennsylvania, depending on how far in VA and PA, let me know if you'd like me to review your car, because I'll put my email in. I usually leave my email in the description in case if you do, because I'm always looking for fun, interesting cars to review, and you guys, I think you guys know what kind of cars I like to watch. So let me know in the comments below. Send me an email if you'd like, pictures, whatever. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this far. Thank you for watching Thor and loving Thor and Phantom. And yes, bye peeps.